Alright, I've been having some problems with my Maytag fridge. The Icemaker isn't making ice. Looking in here, and I can't pull this all the way out right here, but I can't really see in there right now. But I was able to determine that if I take this out, it does actually, and kind of replug it in, it does flip out the ice cubes that are in the tray. But then it just doesn't do anymore. So water is going into it. That part's good. And I think what I need to do is replace this part. I ordered it up off of Amazon. Yeah. So I think this part kind of controls when it starts and goes, and the motor, and kind of the brain of it, or the smarts. So I think this might do it. So from what I've been reading, so I matched up my fridge serial number and a number on the ice machine in there. So now we're gonna pull out this fridge, get the old one out, and replace it. All right, so I took out the ice tray right there, and now I have to get this part out. To do that, we got to insert a screwdriver, and I don't think I can do it in the video, but there's a little tab in here we push down on when we pull back on this. This whole piece is going to slide out, and then that under here is where there's basically the power plugs in. We can unplug that. Once that's unplugged, this whole piece, this back part, including this, will slide forward out of the fridge. So I'm going to try to do that. Alright, so it did just come off here, but I thought I'd show. Basically it was on, I put this screwdriver in that part like that, and I pulled while I was pushing downward here with the tip, and this whole piece then slides forward like that. And behind there you see the part that's plugged in. So now we'll unplug that, and then we're going to pull out that piece. Alright, I just wanted to show how I unplugged it. Again, I can't do it while I'm pushing, but you see this little tab here. I basically put pressure on the top part of that right back here on the back part, and then just pulled, and it came apart. And now to pull this out, we do have to release. There's a little tab right in. I can get better light on it. There's a little tab right in here. That has to come up while we pull out. So again, I'll have to stop the video to do that. But while pulling that out, I'm going to pull forward on the whole unit. Alright. So now, as you can see how this slides in and out. We got to watch the cables down here, because we don't want to get these pinched. And there is a little notch to come through. So we're going to keep those clear. And just finish pulling this out. There we go. So here is our ice maker. As you can see, there's ice in the trays. I know this thing flips, so we're going to replace it and see if this works. Alright, so you can see the old and the new. Basically, this part here is the tray with the flip. Here it is flipped. You can see the position it's in. It looks like I'll put the arm on here in similar fashion to where that's attached. And very similar on these sides. We'll also have to take this cover piece off, and then we'll probably have to go on here, and then this back piece off. Now this I know just slides off. Alright, so it would appear that the way that this piece is attached to this piece is through bolts on the underside here and there. And on the new piece you can see where they would go. So we're going to unscrew those and get the old piece off. So we're going to take off these three bolts here. Alright, probably should have taken these screws out after I took the cover off, but I did get a screwdriver underneath here just a little bit and just kind of pried away. And this cover is coming off now. Alright, I flipped it around, got this cover off, and now the cover is attached to some wires. I don't think those need to come off, but we do need to remove this piece right here. This wire runs along here, this little plug here, and then this fuse right back in here. It's pretty hard to see with the light. Right behind these wires needs to come out. It's going to clip in. You can see where the clip is on this one. Right up here where that plug is, it runs alongside. And in the front where we're going to screw that screw in. And then it looks like this piece here attaches in this hole here. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this off now, and then that plug, and unclip that. And this is just loosely in there. It's not being held by anything. So alright, I was going to show again. I just took the bolt out of, or the nut out of here. I wanted to show with the light on too where this fuse is behind here, and where we're going to take the plug out. And as I pull this out too, you can kind of see where those things line up, a hole. So there's really nothing in that one closer to the middle right here. Let's see if I can focus there. Nothing on that one. This one's got a pin in it, and I noticed when I pull out there's some gunk on that pin too. I wonder if that maybe is why it wasn't working. If that thing got burnt out in there or something, because that doesn't look good. And that goes on that end. So, alright. So I did unplug this. Just push down on this little clasp here, and then pull back, and that comes out. And this just popped right out of there. So now we can take this piece. So it's probably not gonna. That is our old ice tray. So I'm going to set that there. I think we need to take the arm off it next as the next step. And we put that on the new one. And then we're just going to reassemble it. I mean, everything else looks pretty well intact in here, I think. So, like I said, mechanically it was working. So for the tray, I think we can just pull this through here probably. Okay. So for the tray, it pulls out on this side. So it slips out of there. With it out of there, and we can wiggle it out of here too. Alright, so now we're going to put the arm on the new one. To do that, we're going to simply slide that in there, down on that end. And this goes in the bottom one on this end. It was kind of a pressure fit to pull out, so I'm guessing it's the same to get in. It's got to be in a little more than that. There, it snapped. And that thing can go. Pushed it all the way in there. So I think we're in good shape now. I think that tray's in good. Kind of was a little. Yeah, we're good. We can start reassembling. So we're sliding that underneath the tray, right up here. I'm gonna clip this in down here. Alright, so I clip that in. Now I'm gonna attach this wire back in here. I think I can do that while I'm holding the camera. There we go. Now we gotta put the front on. As you recall, the metal thing on the second one here, so this could line up with that middle thing, and that went in right there. Grab my Okay, the one thing I noticed here was that if I tighten this too much, this thing it actually starts to not sit in as well. So I try to tighten it, but not over tighten it. And then we're going to put our cover back on. With the switch. See that the wires tuck underneath the bottom. Right down here in this little notch. And it goes on the top. Alright, we got the top back on. Nice and snug, snapped into place. Top and bottom. Now we're going to flip it over. Put in these 3 bolts to the bottom. And then we're just going to slide her back into the fridge. Alright, I got them all tightened down. A couple, and this one was a little bit difficult to get started just because the hole's a little deeper. And I try not to over tighten them, just get them nice and snug. Alright, so now we're just gonna, this is all set, it's all put back together. So we're gonna slide this back into our Maytag freezer unit, top part of the fridge here. Being careful not to pinch this cord, so keep him tucked down here as we slide it in. Alright, so you can see I got it started here, sliding. And I'm just going to push it back. As those wires are cleared, it's a little bit stuck. And I think it's one of those things I have to use 2 hands to make sure I'm pushing it evenly on both sides so that it snaps back into place. Alright, so another little tip here. As I was pushing it back, I found that it was very helpful if I pushed with my fist like this to try to keep it level and keep even force. Also, when I got most of the way back, it stopped, and then I had to give one more little shove to get it to actually a very audible click. So it's definitely firmly in place now back there. We're going to reconnect this cord, this cable here. I can hear it running, so that's good. Started right up when we plugged it in. Now the old one did that too when I had taken it out, and it actually made some ice. You can see it's thinking it's doing something. Alright, we're gonna get that other tray piece back in here. Where is that? Got that over here. Alright, so the idea is just to keep these cords out of the way. You can see right where that goes. It just slides in and snaps like that. So we're all set. I'm going to slide in the tray now. Now we're going to see if we get ice. Hopefully. We'll leave it like this for a little bit and see what happens. Hopefully our fridge will start dumping ice. Oh, you can hear it filling the tray. It hasn't made that sound in a while, so that's a good sign. So I think we might be in business, but we'll let it make some and see before we push it back. Now, one thing I'm just going to point out, it's been a couple minutes now, and that tray arm is definitely down. Before it was up, so the arm is moving. We don't have any ice in there yet, but we'll give it a few more minutes and see what happens. Alright, so it's morning time after I changed this, and I could hear it making ice last night, or dumping ice I should say. So I fully suspect that when we open this, we're going to see plenty of ice cubes in there. So this thing is definitely working and working pretty well. I'm going to dump this first tray of ice, and then we're going to slide the fridge back in place and start enjoying our ice. Nice that we were able to fix it for only, I think it was about $50, so that's not too bad. Definitely was worth doing that versus, I know I read online there's a lot of single parts you can replace and try to fix this or that. So just replacing that whole unit, that was the way to go. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope if anyone else is having a similar problem with their ice maker not making ice, is able to fix their own ice now too.